A bike is a chain-propelled machine. Basically, it just uses the power that you already have as a human being, channeled through a 2 or more wheeled device, and allows you to zip along at incredible speeds with low resistance. It just feels wonderful. You know, you feel a sort of sense of freedom and escape from everyday troubles and confines that are hard to find in other ways.
You can't help but smile once you've been on them, innit? You come off and you're like, ah, done that. That was great.
The wee baby's sitting right behind me, and it's a beauty. I enjoy it very much. On days that I have the motivation to actually get out and use it, you know.
Cycling helps people in a number of ways. At the most basic level, we can get to places quickly, but also it gives us a sense of freedom, and so it's really great for mental health.
They gifted me this lovely bike back in January, I think, and we've been inseparable ever since, basically. I went through a quite traumatic bereavement in 2017. I lost my best friend, who's my cousin. We're really very close, closer than it's possible to imagine unless you've seen us together. And it was really a really difficult time. It still is. I didn't ever really get a bike. I couldn't really afford one, and when I came up here I couldn't really afford one either, but I knew getting out and about was going to help my own mental health, which had been suffering quite a lot. I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go, and then that just started what feels like a kind of new chapter for me anyway. The idea of the bike just seemed like a light bulb moment, really. I was kind of like, why did I not think of this before? It doesn't really matter what mood I'm in at the start. I always feel a lot better when I come off the bike. It's so simple, but it really is fantastic.
Bikes have a marked effect on people. It's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, and the thing is, it's so accessible. It can be in your hall, in your shed. You can hop straight on it, unlike other forms of escape.
When drugs and drink kicked in, a lot of things stopped. I was just into all sports, you know, and I'd always be on these kids, I'll never smoke, I'll never do this, but it doesn't always work out like that, you know. I'm in the process of an 18-month detox from probably my biggest addiction, benzos, Valium, and that's what I'm in the process of now, so it's a struggle, and where we live down here, there is temptation every second, third doorstep, you know. It's never far away, so it's staying away from that and living clean. It's a tool, you know. It goes with the meetings we go to, it goes with kind of support workers, CPNs, and our bikes, you know. So it's therapy in its own way, you know. You know, it's days like today that if you weren't here, we'd be out cycling. So you're taking up my time now. I'm wanting to go out on that bloody bike.
We've really helped people open up their freedom to roam and explore, save people money on travel costs, given people an accessible form of exercise, and in some cases got people pedalling that might have guessed that they would never do it again.
I've got ME and fibromyalgia, which affects my entire body. It also affects my mind and things like that as well.
The illness I've got is cervical myelitis, which affects the messages from my brain to my legs. And the worst thing is the balance and the strength in them. And there was absolutely no way that I could ever manage a normal bike. And it wasn't until Angela got her bike that, and she egged me on to try it, that I realised with the e-bike that made such a difference, and I was able to get going again.
I'd always wanted to try an e-bike because with my ME and fibro, there's just no way I would have ever been able to cycle a normal bike because it'd just been too much energy and what have you. But the expense of an e-bike would have just been out of my reach. Just so delighted that, wow, I can go out and actually do something that makes you feel a bit better about yourself as well. So.
Yeah, and obviously getting back out together again,
Yeah.
which we haven't been able to do for years and years.
Yeah.
It's just freedom, isn't it?
And once you've been out in it, you strive to go out again.
Yeah.
So
It makes a difference not just to your physical self, but it also makes a difference to your outlook and your mental self. You know, there's no getting away from it. You know what they say, let the bike take the strain.
oh, there
Oh
you
no,
go.
that's a train.
That's a train. Well, you could do both, I suppose.
Ah, well.
So no two stories are the same. It's fascinating, really fascinating.